Hey guys, as you can see, I'm here. Sometimes I forget and I don't have all of my stuff together. It's not like I have a big crew here. So let's see, are we going here? It sounds like it. No, not really. It'll do that. You've gotten up here with Lady Hippie, and we are at my bar. Right now, we're on my second channel because my other one seems to have had a problem with my hiatus. And see if we've got, yes, we've got sound. I need a new set of earphones. I had a 10-month hiatus and from a very bad injury. Now I'm going to go, the hair's not. um, so I'm back and I see I'm very loud. Let's see. How about over there? Um, yes, this is all just me. I wear all the hats here. I got a husband who took off and screamed, "I'm bringing breakfast back. It's noon." And I'm like, I'm not eating now. I'm trying to get online here. I've kept my windows small because I've had so much trouble. I have bought 3 sets of different equipment to replace the others because I was getting such a problem with going and live streaming off my webcams. So forgive me, I'm not quite together yet, but I'm working on it. I promise. I promise. Let's see. Now I tend to go from here to there. If you did see anything in the description, it's like to me a social Woodstock. For right now, at least, they don't tell us we can't. Well, they do have some, and they should have some restrictions. But it's to me, it's Woodstock without the freaking mud. You don't really have to go anywhere. You don't have to do anything but just talk. Oh, I forgot. Let's see. I always try to have live chat on. I'm a little off the mark today. Um, so anyway, yes, you can live chat, comment. For God's sake, subscribe. I'm an old woman. I do not make money doing this. I am not adverse to making money doing this, but so far, yeah. So, and my other channel, which is Lady Wicked, I mean, yeah, Lady Hippie at the bar. I had to change and I got mad and I used my old army nickname, which is actually still my nickname. Yeah, another long story. So it's under channel now. You can find me under Wicked. I'll see if I can't throw this up on Facebook, let everybody know. There's thousands. Yeah, maybe one or two. I get up here because again, it's social Woodstock, and I think that this is an opportunity that should not be missed. You get to talk to anyone from around the world. You get to learn so much stuff. I mean, just learn and laugh and have a good time. And you don't have to go, like I said, there's no expense, there's none of that. You have to get out there in the mud, like with Woodstock. Again, I have to position stuff because I happen to be it. And yes, I'm wearing a new piece here. I tend to get these things because they want me to talk about them. So I call it taking either the outfit or, in this case, taking the dress for a walk. It's floor length, as you see got the black and white stripes, and then I love the arms. There's just a little slit in them. But so yeah, I like to do that because I get paid. Very little, but I don't really get a lot that they want me to check into. So, but this is one of the keepers, I think, for fall. It's not heavy, it's not too thin, so it works for me. Again, I said I had a hiatus for 10 months, broke the leg 3 places. Hurricane hit, took a month to get the surgery, had to stay off my feet for 10 months after the surgery. So, hence the weight gain. Yes, the camera does add 40 pounds. However, so does sitting in a bed for 10 months. Which is why I didn't podcast that in. They do not regulate pain. They don't treat you for pain, regulate what have you. I think maybe I should change the neckline here somewhere. I don't know. So I always get up here and I call it fidgeting. Yeah, they ought to do that. Well, they only do so much, but somebody should stop all this crap that's going on, which is the other thing I wanted to talk about if I can remember to stay on subject. Because again, things have just gone crazy in my life right now. It took forever for me to get back up and walk. And I went back on the air I went back, last month in September. And then I had trouble with all my equipment for like this. It was a little over a week and I was panicking. I love doing this. I love seeing people from around the world. I love learning from people around the world. And again, everybody's on their best manners let's call for that. So yes, I'm trying to adjust while I sit still. It's a fairly low neck for my age. I didn't again. I was in a hurry, so I kind of just threw it on. I said, "Okay, it fits," and off I went, accessorizing as I went. One of those girl things. Hard to believe. Army veteran, published author, grandmother of two, wife of the second one. He's a I call him my long suffering husband because he's been here for decades. He just leaves usually or goes outside and piddles. I can't say piddles. He's also a top mechanic. He's retired. He was also a truck driver. So if he wasn't driving a truck or teaching someone to drive a truck, he was working as a repairman. And he's very good. He just doesn't like the new ones, all that confused stuff. It makes me laugh every time because he'll be slamming stuff when I go out to say, "What you doing?" I can't fuss because he takes some of that money and buys things that I like. So we'll go with that. Now, as far as what I was seeing in the news, it was about what I expected to see. The shutdown for the government is still here. I remember that happening once before, not this long. I was in San Antonio. I was stationed at Fort Sam Houston there at the time. It was the 70s. So, yeah, that was. What do you mean you're not going to pay us? I was broke on payday. I mean, last payday when I got paid. I break down. You can't borrow nothing from shit because they don't got it either. We were glad it was only a couple of days, so they have a lot to answer for if you ask me. They really do. Jack, when they do that shit and people can't get paid and they get furloughed, so should they. And when they decide they're going to actually represent their people who freaking want to get paid, then they can come back and they'll go ahead and do another vote. What the hell they think they are, the Pope? It's just um, just wanted to talk about this too. Shades of JFK. I'm going to have my stiffener. I'll explain that in a second, just for those of you who don't know me. Oh, heavenly, heavenly, heavenly. I got to tell you about that one. Oh, I love that. I got brandy wine. It's a soda. It's a brandy wine. It's a soda. It's like black cherry, kind of, a little bit better. And my husband buys me these. I love these little airplane bottles. I used to travel a lot. Last time I flew, they had me chunked in there like, honey, I didn't weigh this much as I do now. I used to be like, I couldn't get on a scale that would actually show weight. It drove me nuts, especially being in the military. And on our time, you trained with the men. We didn't get to be a whack. If you're not going to train with the men, you're a whack. It means you can't do shit with a weapon. So you don't get one. You're a whack. You're on back support. You're secretaries and nurses, which is what it was in my time, until my plane landed. And I found out I wasn't going to Fort McClellan, Alabama for Women's Auxiliary Corps training. I was arriving at Fort Jackson, South Carolina, for regular Army. We had Vietnam Airborne Rangers for drill sergeants. I'm 5'2". I had to get a weight waiver to get in because I only weighed 86 pounds. You had to actually weigh 96 pounds for my height. They put you on this belt and you're going around, they handed you clothes. Yeah, everything they put on me just fell off. Finally, they got tired and left me in a fatigue shirt and measured stuff. So it took a little longer for me. I had some story. Private Benjamin, maybe Private Benjamin with Goldie Hawn is one of the better ones that shows the women in the regular men's army at that time. It was very unusual for them. And most of them, like I said, were Vietnam. So coming from a very vicious war, they called it a police action, jackasses. So, no, I did promise that my stiffener, and that's the president's seal. Yes, I stand with President Trump, and we'll go into that if you want to. If you don't want to, you can call me names. I don't give a shit. It's like water off a duck's back. I'm just that damned old. I do not give a shit. Bring it. Come to the bar. Come see me and bring your worst hat. I'll be like Charlie Kirk, and I intend to say his name every day. But I will sit here and debate with you until the sun don't shine. I mean, ever. I never give up. So, yeah. we're going to try to do that. I do not know why I am echoing so bad. There's a little bit better. Maybe I'm. Oh, there we. What the hell? Yeah, I'm getting. I'm getting so much stuff coming across my sound card that I can. I think no, I'm still a little loud and echoing. So I hope you're enjoying this so far. The snifter, I call it a snifter because when I was growing up, I was adopted. So I was adopted at 9, and I stayed till I was 17. So I did like 8, 9 years for parents. That was it. There was a few cousins and nephews that were thrown in for a little while. I mean, of that family, and we were always. I was adopted with my blood sister, so we had her. We were the same family, but they would introduce us as the adopted girls, not by our names, and we were the adopted girls. So, and in any event, back in those days, even though they were World War IIers, actually they were World War One, Depression, World War. They've seen it all. My daddy was actually at Pearl Harbor, adopted father, so he was something. So was this his brother, and in any event, they used to get. They used to faint. The women would faint. You would have some kind of news, and the women would faint. I got a bad test today, Mom, and they would faint. And if Dad was home, or my older brother, again adopted brother, and they would go and do the ampule under the nose, and hang on, we'll get you something, make you feel a little bit better before you get up. I was so dizzy, and then they come through with this same as some of my shot glasses hold about 3 shots. Here you go, and they'd sip it. Yeah, and so sometimes they would go for 2. So I usually wondered how come I could never faint. So that's not my excuse, but that's what I called it anyway. If there is something everybody else would like to talk about besides me running on, do throw it in the live chat, throw it in the comments. I try to get to everybody. Um, Unfortunately for me, I keep running into a problem with time. I used to put these on between 10 and 12, and I still trying to stick to that, but sometimes it gets as late as 2 before I get in. And so, again, I apologize for that. You can always catch me, just pull me up. Right now, I think you have to pull it up under Wicked. And I was very short in descriptions. I'm like, shut up, I've got to do this again. So, right now, I can't just jump straight into my live stream. I have to go into my channel and do all kinds of this, that, and the others to come back live. Excuse behind me. My cats will photobomb me if that is a given. One of them, usually Fast Walker. Yes, I call him Fast Walker for a reason, but I don't have time for that today either. I have a lot of things that I wanted to digress about. if When Charlie Kirk was killed, the day he was killed, and I was stunned at first, nor did I understand the extent of his work. I liked him because I had seen him as Prove Me Wrong on Campus Boy, and I thought he was great. And then I saw at the end of the Trump campaign, I saw him a little more, and that to me was, because he was talking to the college kids, and they're nuts. Have you seen what they're doing about Palestine? They're wanting to recognize it as a state. Now, how do you go? Okay, you went in and killed and massacred 1,500 people and stole folk and then slowly tortured them to death. And you were still there, but we're going to make sure you're a state. We like a terrorist state next to the only diplomatic state and friend of ours in the Middle East. So you go back to being a terrorist. We'll give you a state. I want to take Keir Starmer and go. What was it? Biden said, take him out behind the woodshed, beat the snap out of him. I mean, what? The other thing I can't understand as well about some of the things that's going on leading up to what happened to Charlie. And I saw this, and at first I couldn't get it, didn't sink. And I said, no, they just hurt him. They haven't killed him. But Donald Trump came out. I'm sorry, President Trump came out. And when he did, I said, oh my God, that boy's dead. Before he said it, I knew. And then I understood too, it began to dawn on me that Charlie Kirk had a relationship. He must have been active and very active at some point in President Trump's affairs or the election. And that, and I didn't know how popular his podcast was because I'd never gone to it. Turning Point's a good name for it. I love that. So I didn't know who, I knew who the boy was. And before I understood it, it just hit me like a brick. I mean, it was as if he was my son, and my son's quite a bit older. Yes, I am that young. So I got that. I got that. Take it back. So this is why I have the stiffness. So yes, I did not know that much. I hit my knees. I had just come in from grocery shopping when I heard that in the next, it would seem like only a minute or two because I was unloading groceries, that I learned he'd been shot. And then, another trip to the car a couple of times and back in time to hear him say he had been killed. And I just hit the floor. And in the back of your head, you're going, you don't know this young man. And I'm just sobbing. I mean, I could, it took, my husband came and said, oh my God, what's wrong? And I couldn't even tell him. It just was awful. And the only time I ever did that was when Princess Diana passed. I mean, where it hit me emotionally so hard that I couldn't, I just was weeping. I couldn't stand. I had to get through that. And of course, you know what my husband did? He brought me one of the, I love this man. He brought me one of these. And I'm trying, shaking and stuff. But it helped. And I was able to get also a couple of my medications in because I take heart medication. And that was just, it was like somebody kept hitting me in the chest. It was as if they were, my son. And you're like, what is going on in your head? But you knew that, and Elon Musk said it the best, I think. I would love to meet you, Mr. Musk. I think you're an amazing man, and father and husband. And I pluraled that because you're like me. You've had more than one. I wish you the best. Um, wish I could afford a Tesla. In any event, he said it the best when he said, they asked him why did he think Charlie Kirk had been assassinated. And he said because he was talking about the light and people were listening to him. People were coming into the light. And so the dark killed him. And it was exactly what I said just moments before he said that. And I had it a little different, good to evil thing. And it was shades of JFK shooting to me. Still is. There seems to be some controversy as well about a lot of things. And even I watched the video that they're actually showing people as to far of just the wound and what went on and what the coroner's report was saying and so forth. And if it went from the C1 to the T1 and then launched there, um, it just doesn't make sense. The hole actually appears right around here. And it seems to be going down at that point. It's a downward shot anyway. How could it go back up? So it would have been like over here, maybe. Well, down further. Could have tore out a lot of it. But it was at a 90-degree angle, is what they're saying. And they're trying to figure out how this, and again, it's a magic wheel, is what I call it. How could it go from like landing at thoracic uh, um, spinal column number one, but yet it had come from one or two down to. So how did it go up and then come down? Was it a hollow point? Was it a, nobody knows yet. That's not in there, and I find all of that strange. But at the same time, I try to put myself in his wife's shoes. A beautiful girl. I saw she won a pageant. That was great. Um, Amazing young lady. He was an amazing man. I knew for a fact the few times I'd seen him that he was a Christian. And I loved that about him. He stayed with his faith. He talked with his faith. He didn't need notes. And to prove me wrong was I would go, that's the right answer. That's why I watched him to see if I could prove him wrong. And I couldn't. And I just loved his energy. I loved how he dealt with things. And I loved how finally it would just finally dawn on these guys that this makes sense. And go look it up. Go look yourself. Terrorism is not a good thing. You should not be sitting here with the Palestinian flag. Finally, President Trump also signed off on an NEO about burning the flags. A year in jail. No, I don't think you have to go to court. It's just definitely a year in jail. So you're going to do a year if you burn a flag and get caught. And I've been screaming about this for like 40 years. I thought there was a law, is what I kept screaming. There's supposed to be a law. We couldn't let a flag touch the ground. And then was even in your training, you had times where you were the flag bearer. And I mean, that's still done, mainly probably on a tank now, but it was still done in the 70s. Heavy bitches, let me tell you. But you know that thing's that if it hit the ground, it had to be properly taken and put to rest, I believe is what they did. I don't know, but it was retired. They wouldn't use it again. So many things have changed since I was in. The uniforms look like they've been slept in, and they're always fatigued. So we couldn't go out in what we called civilization. And when I was in, you had to be in what we called Class A uniform. For the women, it was the jacket and skirt. For the men, of course, pants. Finally, we got the pant legs, or what they call pantsuits in. And we were just, I bought six just so I wouldn't have to, because you usually got one day off if you were lucky. I ran whole divisions by myself. Yes, I was that damn good. You can't tell nowadays. It's probably the stiffness. So he did do something about burning the flag. They're out there with the Mexican flag and the Palestinian flag. What the fuck are they doing here? This isn't Palestine. But last I knew, Mexico still had a border with us, but they didn't get a state or anything. Oh, wait. Yes, they did. I forgot. Let's see, Portland, Seattle, LA, San Francisco, Chicago. Yeah, they got it. New York. They got, I gotta catch up on that. I forgot about all those. Yeah, come on in. We'll give you everything. The people that are paying for it are living on sandwiches of bologna on toast. But you come on in and we'll put you in the hotel. Makes me want to run down to El Paso, come back and tell them I'm Mrs. Rodriguez. And no, I don't speak any Spanish. I was born over there. So I've been raised over there. Can I come across? There's some folk don't like me. Yeah, get a free vacation. As long as it wasn't the Roosevelt. Woo! There's some shit going on out there, and nobody's doing anything about it. So I've been screaming about this, and on the universities. Saw one boy got on the campus. He was doing something like Charlie Kirk, talking to them. Can I ask you a question? These three girls, can I ask you a question? They go, yeah, go ahead. And he said, who was the first man to walk on the sun? Go ahead, I'll wait. They almost got to Armstrong, but they mispronounced it. So they don't know squat. And they're on these campuses and they're getting paid. Their parents are. Then I was like, where the flip are the parents? My son actually, when it first started, this started October 7th. They weren't done on October 8th. They had to still get these people, terrorists out. They were still killing people the next day. And they're out there on the very day it happened, support Palestine. They wouldn't have to kill you if you would give them a state to kill. I don't know. And I thought my grandson had literally raised, like my son, was against Trump. My son was against Trump, and they still are. I'm not. I think they're nuts, and I'm like, who the fuck is giving you guys this kind of indoctrination? Because you're out your little fucking minds. And at that point, I said, well, Mom, I understand that if you were paying tuition for me and I was out in a tent shitting in a bucket, you'd be right up there with just, no, you'd be out of there before I got there. And my grandson said, "Oh yeah, Grandma, we know you will equalize it. If you will get a baseball, but it don't matter to you." I was like, no, I was born and raised in Chicago, and even though I did get teased, and I did get the nomination for the nickname of Wicked. Excuse me. Been out a lot this week. It's didn't put this on because it's got a little bit of foam with it, so it helps. And I've been doing a lot of yard work, well, as much yard work as I could. So we're still cleaning up from Hurricane Helene. And I mean, a year late. Well, it's been a year and a month, I guess now, something like that. So yeah, he said you would actually come and hurt me. I said you can actually go to the bank with that. He knew that Mama would never have let something like that walk. This, also, by the way, it's quiet. I quit smoking. But a friend of mine who is here at the bar with us, and yes, this is at home. People have asked me, "Do you like having the bar?" It's like, "Oh fuck yeah! I don't have to call Uber to get home. I can make margaritas till the cows come home. I don't matter. I ain't got. I'm at home. I can fall out at home. I make it the 30 feet to bed. It's not that big a house." So yeah, I like it. But yeah, my kids were right. My grandson totally was like, yeah, she'd kick our ass. Totally would. So yeah, and then I go, where's the faculty? And then I watched some woman who's being arrested telling some guys following him, what did you do? What did you do? Oh, I'm with such and such department. Call them and give me some help. Give me an attorney as they're dragging her off. I'm like, oh my God. And then I saw there was two or three more. They hauled them up from Harvard and Yale and Oxford, I think. I'm not sure. You have to check it on me. But they had actually brought them into Congress to ask them, what the absolute flaming hell are you doing? Why, in the name of all that's holy, are you letting these students tear apart the campus? They're spray painting books in a library. That alone would have had me tying them to a bundle of fucking wood and burning them alive. Somebody need to enforce the damn law. Now, everybody, I encourage everybody to go armed. Not with a fake, or I mean, that you don't have a license to use. Learn to use it. Make sure you're licensed to use it. But I say this because the life you save may not just be your own. I've seen several times now where, especially in Israel, they've been attacked on the buses there in Israel. One was an officer, and the other one was just a regular citizen, but he had the right to bear an arm. And they killed the terrorist, but the terrorist had already, I think 13, 14 people had already been shot, but they got him. And we're in the same coach as he was, the same bus as he was. So that is why I say, if you're young, and or even if you're not young, if that's something, if you live alone in particular, get a taser if you don't want to get a gun, but get some major form of protection, because all this may not be in our homes yet, but it's coming. I went to my little Walmart, and they had made it bigger during my hiatus. And when I went in, I needed makeup. So I walked on. I was like, oh my God, it's locked up behind bars. I said, oh my God, it's here. It's been seeing it happen, especially in New York. You couldn't do toothpaste. Everything was locked. I was like, oh my God. And that's because the smash and grabs are selling it on the sidewalk in front of the place. I'm not rubbing your nose in it. And yet they had jewelry stores there. If I had been a jewelry store owner in New York and they went in and they trashed McDonald's, I'm putting shit in boxes. I'm making plane reservation. Fuck on. That's dude. I mean, I would have been so gone. I don't know why these people were still there. Store after store after store, Nordstrom, so forth, so on. These were not, they went for the high end. They said, oh, well, they got the Family Dollars in them first. Well, that's good. They got some practice. I mean, no bail, cash bail, no. You don't have to make bail. You just do it. And if somebody does happen to arrest you because they're bored, we'll let you go. It's not a problem. We'll just fingerprint you, take your picture, and you can go. That's my fast walker. I said he would do this. He does it every time. He just spun in the air and landed right next to the cameras. There's cameras everywhere. I just didn't hook everything up today because I was having such trouble getting to a live stream. So yeah, that's a bit of a rant with me. I have more. I would like to know about handicapped things because I was handicapped. Technically, I couldn't walk for 10 minutes, and had to go around with the wheelchair. And you got your husband pushing you, or you're trying to roll it. That's not an easy thing either. Crutches, forget it. I get up on them, going, catch me, catch me, catch me. Because it turns out at my age, or any age maybe, your other leg isn't strong enough to support your entire weight and then move and hop. I mean, you're hopping, on the one leg. You have something to steady the hop, but you're still hopping. And you're trying not to go sideways. And so for like 2 weeks, he's walking behind me. And I'm going to use these. I'm going to use it. Just don't let me go. Poor man. Same with the wheelchair. We couldn't fit it through hardly the house. So I just stayed in the master suite because, That's the best I could get to easily. And crutches, you could still get to the off suite bathroom and all. So I stayed there. And said that I didn't want to see how bad the house looked, so I would like close my eyes when I come out in my wheelchair till I got outside. He doesn't clean anything. It's taken me months, a few months I've been able to walk and get therapy and all that to start cleaning things. It's amazing how dirty things can get in 10 months, let me tell you. I needed like industrial cleaner. It was bad. Bleach everywhere. And I don't know how I veered off into that one. So while they were there talking to the Senate, none of these people who are presidents of these campuses seemed to have a problem with them saying free Palestine. October 7th needs to happen again. These guys did not know what river to the sea meant. Plus, they didn't know what river or what sea. For edification, it's the Jordan and the Mediterranean Sea. And who's in the middle? Well, yeah, guess. I'll give you a second. Yeah, that's right, Israel. So what would happen to Israel? Anybody? Yeah, yeah, I didn't think so. They've got it. They've got Iron Dome. They pretty much get 90%, maybe even 95% of the weapons that are lodged at them. The world doesn't seem to have a problem with that. The only problem they've had is that the Israelis said, "Well, fuck you. I've had enough. We're coming in, taking your ass." And I loved it when Donald Trump hit Iran. Go Donnie, go Donnie, go Donnie. I think he has a great sense of humor. I watched him on several of the whatchamacallums podcasts. Joe Rogan, he was funny. I think he's funny. I think he's got one of those dry wits. So I get a kick out of Santa. Um, I also respected the fact that and how they did when you have the vice president of the United States as your pallbearer, you were a very, very special young man. And you were martyred. There's no other word for it. And when I said earlier that I hit my knees, I felt it was like a JFK moment. I was 4, and so was John Jr. And when he saluted, I'll never forget him saluting the coffin. And I investigated this for years after I grew up. Yeah, I did. So yeah, and of course weeping. You're weeping because the parents are weeping. Your relatives are all there, and everybody's crying. And then when I looked it up, it was like Camelot. It was I don't know what John Kennedy was going to do, but he sure as fuck didn't want him to do it, and had all the earmarks of Johnson all over it. I mean, he didn't have blood on his hands. He was swimming in that blood. He was swimming in blood. When you have a widow still covered in her husband's brains and blood, and you want her to be your witness, I'd have slapped him so hard. Google would have found him for a year. I mean, you want to. I mean, when I think about it, I don't know why she stood there and even cooperated, except but the fact was her children were still at the White House, and I think she was in a big fear of Johnson. She did, and the other thing I found that was strange was how fast she grabbed her children and got out of the White House and into a place in New York, and how she shielded them from the public for so long. Caroline has several kids. I think one of them was recently in the news. I can't remember what for. But again, it just had shades of that. I don't know why I thought that. And then I went and I started watching other podcasts myself. Sorry, something in my eye. And I said, yeah, there's something not right here. I wanted to have a security team. Somebody reached up about the camera that was right on him, and they took the USB drive and they left. Nobody seems to know who the hell that was. After he was shot, of course, jump on Charlie, try to protect him, and he was gone. The only good thing was it was fast. And it takes a while for people to say, okay, I can't cry anymore. I want to try to help. And so I want to try to help his widow. I want to try and help his organization. They've had me and many others uh, come through. Um, and the outpouring of love that he received throughout the entire world was so lovely to see. It made me cry even harder. It's the same with Dinah. That last time I'd seen that kind of grief displayed in a person respected so much and admired so much that people actually had come out, and it was so beautiful. It was peaceful. It was lovely. It was heartbreaking. And his widow, I can't keep calling her the widow, Erica, came out and spoke, and I thought, how are you doing that? Because I don't think I could have spoke so quickly. But we, like I said, you have the VP for his pallbearer. He's brought home on Air Force Two. He has a service that the president attends personally, along with Melania, who was, I think, crying quite a bit. I saw her face, and she had the sunglasses. I don't blame her a bit, but I just adore her. She's got so much class. And it used to be Jackie for me was the best of the first ladies. The scary one was Barbara Bush. That one was scary. Looked like his mom. So I wonder if this way only got one. Anyway, yeah, it was. I was floored by that, and I was so honored that I took part in that. And then I started hearing about the bad memes and people. Mm, I can't even talk about it because to me that was I'm just giving it time in the air, and it should die away. And I said on that very day when my husband got me to stop sobbing and kind of calm down, that he'd been made a martyr, and that now they were done. They were done this far and no further. We're done. We're just done. And now it's your turn. This is what you want to do? Well, I think that maybe we can tit for tat. That eye for an eye thing. Let's keep investigating. USAID, as they called it, USA, with the 90 million for condoms in Afghanistan, not to mention Bagram, that we gave them. They didn't put a dime in that bitch. It's amazing I didn't know Biden. I could have had a house. But yeah, she came out, and it was a wonderful thing to see too. The terrible thing for me also was his family was there when this happened. That also just broke me. And I just wept and wept and wept every time. So I had to get off the news for a little while. I mean, I had stayed until he was brought in. And that night I watched Erica. And then, of course, to the memorial. All of us broadcasters, a lot of us took online and aired to do a live show and honor him as well during that time. And I don't think I put much of a set together because I was so all over the place that I actually had to stop the programming, which actually I run, so that wasn't hard. And so, hey, I got to go. I'm going to be here, but right now I have to go because this is so overwhelming. And it's still overwhelming, and it's been some time now. And I don't know, there was several parts to this I didn't like. When I saw, and I said, it's just smacks of JFK. And I said this within like 2 minutes of hearing it, where the shooter was, and that they had arrested this guy, and no, they arrested this guy. And apparently both ones that they arrested, of course, are not guilty of this, but they put them in jail with different charges. One's child porn. I don't know what the other one is. You can't interview them if they're in jail. One guy actually yelled at the crowd, pulled his pants down, saying so they were. I do not know what's going on in this world anymore, but I think that we good people have got to stand up, like Erica did. Do you have to? She has two small babies. Her husband has been laid to rest. She's probably only what, 28, 29, beautiful woman, grieving so hard and having to put up with the memes that are celebrating. And many of us said the other side was going to celebrate. We knew they were going to be ugly about it. Why, I don't know. I really don't understand that. I mean, why would you, it doesn't matter who it is, what they did. They've been killed in front of their family. He's been assassinated in front of his family. He never hurt anybody. He never really spoke loudly to anyone. If they wanted to believe what they wanted to believe, he had no problem with that. All he said was, "Prove me wrong. Prove me wrong." Well, I saw a clip this morning before I come up and got on air, and that was again what the new. Uh, well, I can't say new. I think he had a partner for the podcast, and at Turning Point, so he went out to a college and he was asking, "What do you want to ask me?" Just like Charlie did, and the guy just kept yelling at him and spitting and telling him he wanted to kick him in the cojones and all this stuff. And I'm like, that's not a debate, you want. Security should have run over and hit him once or twice, maybe a third time. I would have tased his ass, pepper sprayed him while I was dragging him off. They quit that shit. They quit that shit. That's the way they treated all the parents that had a problem with somebody teaching their kids Muslim and having to pray 4 times on a mat, whatever it was, or come in and say, "I don't like that. I don't appreciate that." Well, they'll tase you twice. They hit you with pepper spray, rip your clothes, as they drag you out like you're a felon, and came in with a Tommy gun. I mean, it's beyond belief. It's like, so they can get away with that, but we can't get away with that. Well, we don't want to get away with that. We want to show them that I don't know what you're doing, but it's not the way to be a human. That's the way to be a piece of shit. And generally, when I see a piece of shit, I pretty much get my dustbin out, pick it up, and go throw it out in the toilet or somewhere like that. That's what I think of these people. You can't get me to change my ideas on this. I didn't vote. I didn't pay attention to it. When I was raised, there were 2 things you didn't talk about, and that was politics and religion. In a room with anybody. You just didn't do that shit. It was guaranteed somebody was going to get pissed. And when I was growing up, when they had company, that was their uncle, their brothers, or so forth. And the family would come up, and it was so bad with JFK. As I mentioned earlier, we must have had 20 people that wanted to stay with us. They all wanted to stay together. They didn't want to be alone while it was going on, until they found out what was going on. I saw his autopsy photos, and there's no way that the bullet that killed him came from the front, from the books. And it blew his head off. It hit him in the back of the head. That guy couldn't hit him in the back of the head. He wasn't up that far. He would have had to hit him here. I think he grazed his neck here, and he went a little bit to slant. But when he was hit in the back of the head, he was it. That was gone. That's when Jackie got up and was trying to get, she was on the trunk trying to get help because his brains hit her. This was a very much public execution, just like Charlie Kirk's. And this is why I made that. And I'm not the only one that made that aware or pointed it out, or if it's even reasonably responsible for what I'm trying to say. I've seen several of the gun experts, some ballistic experts. I can't say I'm an expert, although I'm a damn good shot. So I figure anybody that comes into my house is dead meat, but I'm going to make them pay for it. I'm going to shoot them in the, I'm going to shoot a leg, shoot an arm, shoot the other arm. It might double tap him later. I'm just mean like that. Yeah, but this, I see, I wanted to say, some things should not really be allowed, but that would be censorship. And how far would that go? It might not go far for the first year or two, further than most of us would have wanted. You don't want to see people be so disrespectful to someone, but they have the right to do it. And we have the right to say, fuck you. But fuck you. I mean, I have to go with a hard fuck you. You're an ass, all of you. You have got to go with the fact that, but for God, there go I. What makes you think you won't be shot in the head in front of everybody, including your family? That doesn't occur to you? You're not human. I don't know what you are, but get help in your own country. Get out of mine. If you're carrying a Palestinian flag, I think you should be grabbed, given a parachute, and chunked out over Gaza. And that's the nice exit. There's some people I think, Joe Biden, a whole bunch of them, Nancy Pelosi, Charlie Schumer, all of them in the 1800s, they would have hung them. They're traitors. They committed treason. They've made millions of dollars. AOC. Oh my God. Oh my God. How dare you people come across? What's the other? Ilhan Omar? Go the fuck out of here. Just go. I don't give a damn where your plane lands. Just get the fuck off my planet. And what the hell? You marching around calling my place dirty, and it wasn't this bad in Somalia. Why the freak did you marry your brother to get the flaming fuck out then, bitch? They'll probably get rid of this, but it was fun to say. Maybe they won't. It seems to be fair, if you ask me. Yeah, I don't like that. I don't know. It seems to me as if maybe I've drank too much. It seems to me as if I ended up in another dimension. It's just like my dimension, except a few things are off. I thought there were 54 states, and I'm not stupid. I just thought there were 54 states. We pulled Puerto Rico in, it made the 54th state. Suddenly, everybody's calling it the 50th state. That we only have 50. I'm like, okay. I'm like, how could I be this wrong? There's other things that have done the same. They call it the Mandela effect. I would love to talk about that. That's a good one. And I've seen some things that I would love to talk about. Demons, ghosts, things like that. So I don't always have just the headlights, because that's just, again, politics and religion. They would have this up there. The only time that I ever saw anything about politics was the death of John Kennedy. And they stayed for like a week or two. They stayed together. This really rocked the United States. And it turns out that even he didn't get the recognition that Charlie Kirk did. The only one who did, again, was Princess Diana. And I cried for weeks. And I still have trouble when I see her with the boys and running and playing. It just kills me because I adored her. And so now we have Charlie. So I would love to talk about other things, because they call it the left, the right. I don't give a damn. I used to talk about a tea party before they had it. I think everybody in counties and cities, besides owning your own weapons, that you should form a militia. It's what they did in the United States. They were in America. Most of you, when did we start saying the United States of America, and why? Anybody? I got time. Nope. Nobody? Okay. Somebody. Any live chat. The Civil War. It was the Civil War because they had seceded from the United States, from America. So I don't even know what they were called offhand now, but they seceded, and they were no longer a state of the Union. So that meant they were not in America. They were a separate entity, and that's what they wanted until apparently they burned down everything in Atlanta, and they said, okay, well, we got to get out of this. I'm a Yankee. I was born in Chicago. And I've looked at some stuff. I've never understood why in wartime, in particular the Civil War, they're in a cornfield. The position they're telling them to take out's on a hill overlooking the cornfield. A cornfield has nothing to protect you. And yet they died in the thousands. And that, to me, is what these states have done. They have seceded from the Union. They have. When you have, I don't care if you call it sanctuary city. I don't care if you say, we don't listen to the federal government. Our shit's our own. Then you have created sedition. That's treason. That means you have left the Union. I've been screaming this for years. Why do you protect the person who's out there killing somebody versus the person who died because you let somebody out that had 15 felonies for rape, murders? So when does it stop? Well, President Trump says I'm sending it in the guard. This just got to stop. They're attacking the guard. They're attacking ICE. They're attacking police. Shut the fuck up. Stay home. Just shut the fuck up and stay home. If you cannot be reasonable adults about shit, you shouldn't be out there. And by the way, on the other side, those of you with badges, fuck off. I don't care. I think if you want to be mask, mask. If you don't, fine. Get your family somewhere else, maybe. But while this is going on, but don't let them push you. Don't let them spit on you. When they do that, make sure they kiss concrete and throw the cuffs on them behind their backs. Search them down. Please drag them to wherever it is that they're going to transport them to, and make sure they don't get their phone, and make sure they don't get a phone call until 72 hours are up. And then finally, call me. I'll make up something you can charge them with. But I've seen this, and against my soldiers, they were pushing my soldiers. They would have eaten my rifle. I would have been, you know, what the hell do you think you're doing? I'm 5'2". And my age is a state secret, so we don't talk about that. But I could take care of you with my own weapon. You would not do that in my city. You would not do that in my county. You certainly wouldn't do that in my subdivision, because I would be handing out weapons to people myself and telling them, don't let them touch you. And if they keep screaming at you, knock them out with the butt of the rifle. This shit would stop. I've also been screaming, follow the flaming money. They're finally getting around to that. They're finally getting around to looking for the money. Now we're finding out Soros and all these people. Disney, I hope, goes bankrupt. I didn't participate. I haven't in decade, I think, maybe more. I found out a lot of things about Disney himself that did not please me. Yeah, they have control of the media, and they have had control of the media for decades. I've also been saying that, but luckily we have the world of YouTube. I love YouTube. So we can all talk to each other and go, damn, do we still have that shit? They said what? I mean, so, there's all kinds of things to talk about, but politics I try to stay out of. Although today I spent an entire hour because I watched a thing that was investigating, again, the shooting and the injuries, how it was impacted. And I can't see it's supposed to be the entry room right by his Adam's apple. That's a lot lower than C1 through T1. I happen to know my anatomy. I trained to be a nurse first, and actually ended up working in hospitals, running hospitals when I was in the Army, and after I was civil service. So, yeah, I knew a little bit about that stuff. But it's been a long time since I knew anything about ballistics or any of that. I mean, you just learn to shoot, and you shoot damn well because you're going to get a medal. And if you don't, you're going to have to probably go through there again. So you might want to do that. I've also, like I said about the uniforms and that, women being trained separately, I love Pete Hegseth. That should never have happened. If these women are not trained as soldiers as the men are trained, and if they can't do the training, they need to not be in the military. That's not a place for them to be. I hate to see anyone say, "Oh, I want to do this. I'm going to lose." No, I hate to do that. I didn't think I would make it. We were the first to go through. And again, 70 states, but I said, you can bend. Don't you fucking break. I would hunt you down. You wouldn't be safe anywhere. Because even though it wasn't what any of us thought we would do, we were there. And if we could pass this, we could open a door. We could say, see, women can be soldiers. They can serve with the men. Now, what they've apparently been doing, because I have a friend who was in the 90s, is giving the women separate training. I nearly fainted, and I've tried that all my life. I never got to do that. I nearly fainted when my friend told me that. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. They're doing what? And I had, my grandson, he did the Rusty thing. He went in, he ended up in Korea. He finished that and got out. I don't blame him. Don't blame him at all. But I think it should be mandatory, like it is in most countries, for the 18th to 21. It has to serve at least 2 years. No more than 2, but 2. You grow the hell up. You're not out there with stupid signs. And what is it with the signs anyway? These people have jobs. It's just, follow the money. Oh, that's really good today, but it's got a cinnamon burst at that. It's a whiskey fireball. If it were earlier, I would still be sipping a mimosa like yesterday. Today, I'm going with the brandy wine. Mm. I'm sorry, that's my Scottish crest. You probably can't see that too well. Um, in any event, yes, I'm Scottish. I'm British. With the red hair and the green eyes, it was a pretty good bet that I was Irish or Scottish. Turns out both. And British. Turns out all three. So I'm still confused. Again, on the militias, I couldn't live in a city like Seattle. I would have done packed my shit and left them and made sure my kids, grandkids, you're in the truck, shut up. It would have been, you got this long to get your shit and get it out of here. We're going. No, I'm not having my family live like that. Are you crazy? I wouldn't have anybody living like that. Ever. The only problem I have with organized religion in particular, and I wear, yes, my cross. I wonder if anybody knows. Do you know the difference between a cross and a crucifix? Anybody? Okay, the crucifix has Jesus on it dying. The cross is just a simple embellished cross. Anybody know what the cemetery and graveyard difference is? Just while I'm here. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Graveyard is church. Separate burials. The rest is civilian. So your cemetery is civilian. And your graveyard is still old ones at the church. So that was fun to find out. So I thought I'd throw some wisdom in here today. I haven't seen anybody hit live chat, and I'm about to just jet out myself because I know my husband's coming back with all kinds of food that I don't want. But he's done spent money, so I said, okay, and I have to eat. I'm still trying to get rid of X amount of pounds from being off my ass for so long. And I hope I've done that. So I don't like to keep anybody past an hour, so my time is about up. This is the reason I don't smoke, but he lets me have this because I'll hit it one time and it just goes out while I'm talking. And I only get to do it when I do this. So that, and I have my stiffener. So by the end of the show, I'm real happy. See what I mean? Also, like I said, you can find me on Wicked Guys. Hit the comments, hit the damn bell, subscribe. Give me some help. It's hell over here. You just don't know. I'd love to buy more than one whiskey, I'll tell you. It's kind of cute. I've never built in my entire life. I have never had to buy my own drink. And I'm sure as hell not starting now. I'm just not going to do it. Let's see here. Yes, the glass thing. I love that. I had surgery on both eyes and I still have to have glasses. And I woke up on the second surgery. I woke up and they were stitching in one side and they were cutting it on the other side when I woke up. But they have everything, clamped down, and your head and arms, legs, and your torso. You can't move. You can't do this or nothing. I could move a foot. So I moved my foot. And I think they saw also in your eyes that I know I can tell the difference when you're awake or if you're passed out just by your eyes. And they was like, hold on, there's painkiller coming. Hold on. Still stitching. That was fun. I always have a good time at the VA. And again, my time is up in about a minute and a half. Do come and visit me. I'm either at Lady Hippie at the bar, or I'm at Wicked. And again, Old Army nickname. Please come talk to me. We can talk about ghosts. We can talk about the world. We can stay hopefully away from politics because that seems to make people pissed. As far as religion, I think it was great that they elected the Pope from Chicago, where I'm from, and from the United States. However, I did see a problem when he was blessing that ice, but hopefully he'll get some help for that. Some things just crack me up. I'm like, did it almost melt before he got there? Come visit me, say hey, share. Like I do it for entertainment purposes only, but I would like to know I'm talking to somebody out there besides me. And again, it's just social Woodstock. Come on over, we'll talk, we'll chat. Um, get you a drink. Take your phone and set it up at the bar. Talk to me while you're at your bar, and we all have a good damn time. In the meantime, I have yet to relearn how to say bye gracefully, and I'm still struggling with that. So forgive me if I get it wrong. Everybody out there, have a blessed day. Stay safe. Stay out of trouble. Leave me a comment, guys. See you.